Hi everybody. Today we're going to talk about using what you have. Hi everybody, I'm Curtis Eustace with CurtisEustacePhotography.com, a place where you can become the photographer and or videographer you've always wanted to be. Find Your Purple writes, on the Sony, I think it was, doesn't do video beyond 5 minutes. I try to keep my videos short, but before editing, I'm never under 5 minutes. So why would a vlogger want to use that one? I'll check out the other videos. I'd love to know, for the money and for a beginner, very beginner, when time comes, what would be the best camera for the money? Well, that's a good question. And I always say, shoot with what you got. So, like for instance today, this particular video, I'm shooting with my Samsung S7. What I've done is I've added a light. I've added a softbox with a fluorescent tube in it to provide light. So where the picture starts to fade on most of these cameras and most of the like an iPad or an iPhone is when the light is dark, the camera will actually start to struggle to find light to make a proper exposure. So by adding light, the camera doesn't have to work as hard and your picture quality is going to be much, much better. So when the light is dark on these small sensors of these phones and iPads, the actual sensor gets more power, which causes it to become grainy and kind of looks like the old days with the film cameras when you had a high-speed film and then you saw this grain, okay, and noise. Well, this is the same thing that happens with these camera phones. Not enough light. It's going to actually increase the sensitivity to the sensor or increase the ISO, which will allow more light to come into the sensor. But it requires more energy, which causes more noise. So your picture quality goes down. So two things I would concentrate on is, one, I would concentrate on light. For instance, I've got this softbox here that actually gives me more light than the actual ambient light, which reduces the load on the sensor. And the second thing I would concentrate on is audio. Remember that 85% of what is gleaned from your video will actually be gleaned from audio, not video. So, with that in mind, people will forgive fuzzy pictures, grainy pictures, pictures that are sub-quality, but they won't necessarily forgive poor audio. So if you're in a room that's full of echo and it's hard to hear you and it's hard to understand you, they're going to click out of your video before you're done, just because of the audio. But you increase the audio quality and you've won half the battle right there. So for instance, I'm recording audio on this particular microphone. This is a desktop microphone. This is the Rode NT USB. Now it's actually a fairly expensive microphone. So I wouldn't, say that if you can afford it. Right now I'm recording on my computer. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sync up the audio later in the soundtrack. Okay. So now if I can get this right. So right now I'm using the DJI Osmo Mobile with my phone so I can adjust the picture and things like that. That's why when I'm hitting the button, it's going the opposite direction. Sorry about that, but we're going to keep on rolling with it. Okay. Hang in there with me. Okay. So now also, as I said, the most important thing is audio. So on the phone, I actually have plugged in a microphone like this. So the microphone that I actually have plugged in is this exact microphone. And this is a video microphone by Rode. That's Rode. So now this is actually designed for a camera. And what I've done is, on the plug, you'll have a 2-band plug and a 3-band plug. A 3-band plug means it goes into a cell phone. A 2-band will go into your camera. Since I'm shooting on my phone, I got an adapter cable that goes from 2 bands up here to 3 bands where it goes into the phone. The difference will be that this, instead of a black plug, will be a gray plug. You can also get a microphone called the Rode Mic Me, which is designed specifically for phones and iPads that have a jack, a 1/8 jack like this. So if your iPad has a 1/8 jack, you can actually take the Mic Me and it plugs into the side and it stays right there and it gives you really good audio. So the sound that you're hearing right now is coming from a Rode NT USB, and that's this microphone right here. So this is a desktop microphone. The second mic that you're hearing, the one you're hearing right now, is this microphone here. It's the Mic Me, or the Video Micro, okay? So typically made for a camera. As I said earlier, I converted it so I could use it on my phone. The third mic that you're hearing right now is actually the phone mic. So you should hear a difference in the quality between the three microphones. And then this is my desktop microphone. You can improve the sound quality by not much money. I think the video Mic Me is about $60. I think this video mic here, the Video Micro, is about the same price, maybe a little bit more. And then the Rode mic, of course, is close to $200. So you just have to judge what your budget is and what you're going to be doing. Find your purple. Since you're going to be actually shooting with your iPad, I would recommend either a lapel mic, which I haven't talked about yet, or one of these shotgun mics. So a third option is to actually shoot with a lapel mic. And that's a microphone that will clip onto your lapel or your shirt, and then you run a wire and it plugs into the phone. But make sure that the microphone that you pick, they call it a lavalier mic or a lav mic, is actually one with the 3 bands, or you'll have to buy an adapter to plug into your phone. The easiest solution will probably be your shotgun mic, your Mic Me, or your Video Micro microphone by Rode. Just some options there. But keep in mind, everybody, that when we're talking about cameras and spending money to do what we want to do on YouTube, a lot of times what we have is fine. Is the picture quality on this phone camera going to be as good as my Sony a7R II? No, it's not going to be as good. The lens is better, the camera's better, but this is also almost $3,000 just for the body, and then another $1,300 for the lens. So we're talking well over $4,000 or over $4,000 for a camera and lens combination. Is it going to be good as my Sony a6000? This is a cheaper solution. The body's only $600. The lens is probably a few $100. So we're talking about $900 for a camera lens combination. Is it going to be as good as that? No. Are people going to really notice the difference between the two? Well, probably not, unless they're held up side by side. And you know, if you're going to do a comparison video, well, here's the video from this camera, here's the video from this camera. Can you tell a difference? Yeah, you can probably tell a difference. But if it's not being held up side by side, then there's really nothing to worry about. It'll be fine for YouTube. The biggest thing is give yourself good lighting, give yourself good audio, and the rest will fall into place. Don't worry about spending money on expensive equipment until you get to a certain level. At some point, you'll probably want to do something other than that's what's on your phone, and that's completely natural. But don't worry about or stress about people getting all the expensive toys. I get the expensive toys because that's what I do for a living, okay? And I depend on this equipment to make a living. So, but if we're making videos for YouTube, at some point, of course you'll want to upgrade, but use what you got. It's not so much what you're shooting with, but it's what you're shooting. It's the content. It's the message that you're delivering. So I hope this helps. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate a subscription, and I'll catch you next time.